All right. Welcome, everybody, to the Lamp Vicious podcast show today. We have a great, interesting show today, and we have three great, interesting guests as well. So we're ready to get that started. The topic of this show is called Classroom versus COVID-19. So that is going to be what we're discussing today, and we're going to get in depth with the thoughts and the insight from a lot of education professionals, and they're going to talk about some tips on what they're doing, how they're transitioning, and also tips on what they feel like you should do as either a student or a parent yourself. So I'm here. I know classes for a lot of people are canceled. So I got my HCC shirt on today. So I know that hold on one second. I know that everybody is kind of getting ready to buckle up and buckle down for this storm that's about to come. So how's it going on your side over there, Lloyd?
Man, it's good, man. Like you said, man, it's a lot going on. Me personally, I've started grad school this week, so that's pretty cool.
Started grad
Um,
school.
Grad school, man,
Nice. That's
trying to
awesome.
enhance my knowledge. Today is my dad's birthday.
I got the sound effect. Congratulations.
Appreciate it,
That's
man.
what it's about.
Trying to be like you, big bro. Here it is with the with
Appreciate encourage.
enhancement,
What is it? Encourage, uplift,
uplift,
and
and
evolve.
support. Right. So, uh, you know, um, grad school this week. Today is my dad's birthday, man. So that's a blessing to still have him and gravitate to his knowledge.
Okay, happy birthday! Shout out to
Yeah,
Mister the original Lloyd.
the original Lord.
Happy birthday to the original Lloyd.
Yes,
Him
sir.
and my dad are great friends, man. So that's
Yeah,
a good thing.
oh, yes.
Yeah,
He talks about Mr. Francis all the time. So
they like best friends too.
yeah. So and they passed it down to us, man. So dad and just hunkering down, they saying that we might have the wind surge
Mm,
in the Gulf Coast region. We've been through this drill before. So prepare, make sure you have water and everything like
right.
that. But other than that, man, life is good. It's amazing. We're in the middle of a pandemic. We're in the middle
Yeah.
of maybe possibly two hurricanes in our region. But
Yeah.
hey, we're here and we
That's
have a
why I
great
got my
quarterback.
that's why I got my water hat on. My boat hat. I gotta get ready for it. Let me
Exactly,
put this.
exactly, exactly. So everything's all good, man. We always think our life is in doom and it's the worst possibly could be, but it's always somebody out there that wish they had your life. So, just have to think positive, glass half full. Still there, Pat? Okay, well, I think we are having some technical okay, there we go. There we go. Is everybody there? I think Pat had to I think Pat had to go off and come back. But anyways, what we were discussing basically is that tonight we will have a very interesting show, and I think the number one topic that has been, I know, on my personal timeline has been about COVID in the classroom and the virtual learning. And I think the biggest thing is that it's impacting not only the students, but the teachers and the parents that have to take the time out to go over all of the work. So it's impacting everyone. It has a ripple down or a trickle down effect because, as even if you're a parent and you're working from home, you still have to take that time out with the child and go over that work. But then you have teachers that are, God bless them, not necessarily equipped with all of the technology or the learning to know, how to pass on this knowledge virtually. And so tonight, we have three guests that, will have interesting intakes and views on, um, you know, we as parents, because I'm on the parent side. I have a child that's going into high school, and so I know the fear of starting high school, as well as, with this whole pandemic and virtual learning it's going to be a big test. But, you have the little kids, you have the kids that are, just entering kindergarten or entering, first grade, or, how are they dealing with the pandemic, the stress of the pandemic, being at home, learning. And then, like right now, we're having technology problems, so how do you deal with that? So, um, with no further ado, let's see here. I think we have Pat back here. Okay, we have Pat back. So I was just telling people about the show, and just like we just experienced, we had technical difficulties. So, tonight's show is talking about virtual learning and how to deal with COVID. And you have three different populations you're dealing with. You're dealing with students, teachers, and parents. So it's impacting everyone. But I believe we have our first guest already ready. If you'd like to go ahead and introduce her. I can't hear you. Can't hear you. I'm gonna try to remove you and bring you back. Okay, there you go. Okay, I hear something now. I hear your audio, Pat,
All right,
but
can you hear me now?
I can hear you. Just okay. Okay, cool. I
Okay,
can hear
can
you.
can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, great, great. All right, so let's get started with the first guest. Her name is Tessie Wendell. She has a BS in secondary education. Currently owns and operates her own event management and design firm. Tessie is the CEO and lead event artist of Artistic Celebrations. She's on Facebook, social media, and all types of different platforms. So you'll be able to find her there. So without further ado, I would like to bring to the show Miss Tessie Wendell. Are you able to open her in?
Yes. I got her.
Hello.
Hello.
Good evening.
Hello. How you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm doing really good today.
All right. Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, great, great. So I had technical issues with this new age we're in, streaming and
Yes.
stuff. You
And
got
it
to be
happens. It happens. But
yeah,
persistence, that's what it's about. Persistence.
yeah. So I can tell them if I'm at work and my computer goes down, I can let them know this happens. So
That's right.
yeah. So you've been doing pretty good.
Doing well, yes.
Doing good. Okay, great. So let me get to the topic because I already got to introduce you and
Okay.
a little bit. So kind of tell us, how did you get started with, if I'm saying it right, artistic? What is it? Artistic.
Celebrations.
Okay.
Celebrations.
How did you get started with that? And kind of give us a background from where you started out, from college or high school, however you want to start it, and bring us back to the top.
Okay. So just as a kid, I would just love being creative. It was just something that I did. It was more like therapy, like a hobby that I did.
Mm-hmm.
And so as my profession, I became a teacher, and my classroom was almost like a party room. I changed it every month. There was a theme every month. I mean, I loved teaching. I knew I wanted to be a teacher since I was a little girl. So it was just my passion. And then I kind of fused my hobby and my passion together in my classroom. So I was super creative. I did a lot of hands-on with my kids, and I just kind of blew my classroom up into a theme every month. And then I took those themes to create it into my lessons, and we just had fun with it. We had like a party every Friday for the kids that worked really hard, and for those that didn't, we always had something for them too, because I didn't think that it should be a consequence because they tried. And I told them as long as they tried, that was huge for me. Like I said, persistence. As long as they tried, then they still got to celebrate, because I thought that was important to encourage them to continue to do their best. So while I was teaching, I did a lot of parties here and there, like small things for my friends. I did a lot in my church, people asking me to help them with different creations and making different things. And then I just decided it was time to get paid to do something like that. And so I kind of like went full-fledged into doing children's parties. And it made sense for me because I was in the teaching field. So I went straight into just being creative with children's parties. And then we started a rental company as well. So we rented out moonwalks and, snow cone machines and things like that. And then it literally grew from there into doing weddings. And then now we actually do large scale expos for different municipalities. And we are like lead designers. So we also invested and just kind of grew our inventory into now where we do tables, chairs. We're a full rental company. And so we service a lot of the bigger companies here, like the hotels and most of the venues. I'm in the Pearland, Texas area. So we are one of the lead designers in almost every venue here in the area. Oh, I can't hear you again.
I had on mute.
Okay.
I had a couple questions. How long have you been in the business, or actually when it started? Is one question. Is this also like a family business, or do you have several employees? And give us a little insight on that.
Sure. So with the teaching, I did this part-time. I taught for 15 years, and while I was teaching, I did the business, but it was part-time then. So I've been in business for almost 16 years. It's been full-time for the last, I'm going on my 6th year now. So it's been full-time. Thank you. So I did quit teaching 6 years. I quit teaching like 8 years ago. And then I was building the business and building different programs. And now this is all I do full-time. And now adding on the homeschool thing, which I think we're going to get to here in a second. So adding that on as part of my job. But I do feel confident because of my teaching experience, but I know there's a lot of parents out there that are struggling with that part. But I feel confident in the fact that I can homeschool because of my experience. I think if I wasn't a teacher before, I don't think I'd be able to do it as confidently as I feel now with how I'm planning on doing it with my children. But going back to the business, we are full-time now. It is family owned and operated, but with that, because we've grown so much, like I said, we do a lot of corporate events and a lot of citywide expos, which are large scale events. We do have several team members. So we have 2 lead design team members that handle all of our design. We have an office manager, a bookkeeper, and then we also have a warehouse manager who handles all of our linens, backdrops, all of the stuff that's over on that side as well.
Okay, cool. And you touched on the. Go ahead.
Quick question. I was just to interject real quick, because I know you had mentioned homeschool. Would you say that someone that has previously homeschooled their child has an advantage over someone with this being a new experience due to the pandemic, almost forced into homeschooling? Not necessarily homeschooling because you still have a virtual learning, but would you say they have an advantage? Is it more of a advantage to do the homeschooling as opposed to someone that's just a fish out of water right now?
I absolutely think so. And let me tell you why. So when COVID started back at the end of March, the first 3 weeks were a huge adjustment for me. And like I said, I've taught for 15 years, so this definitely wasn't new to me, but it's an adjustment of your schedules. For me, it was an adjustment of my job. And then as an adult and as a parent, because you mentioned you were a parent too. So we also have different responsibilities that we have to think about. So we're concerned about bills getting paid. Where's our next job going to come from? Because for me, as an event manager, I lost every event from March all the way up until July. And literally, I do a lot of school events too, because like I said, we're contracted with a lot of companies here. So when I say I got phone calls in one day, all of the school events that I had canceled on me in one day. So it was devastating. So we have so many other stressors that are adding to the responsibility. So adding the children at home was very hard. And it was an adjustment that we had to get used to. And then for me, I have, so I had an 8th grader. He's about to go to high school. I have a beginner middle school last year. Yes, yours is going to high school too. And now, well, she's now 3 years old going into preschool, but I had basically a toddler here at the house. So, adjusting to everybody. Now my older two are, they kind of do things together, but having the age gap between them was also a huge challenge, because while I had my little one on a schedule, having her older brother and sister home really posed a huge challenge. So yes, it doesn't matter how much experience you have. I feel confident in going forward with the teaching, but for someone who hasn't done it at all, it could be very overwhelming and cause anxiety for you.
So give us some tips, for those parents and out there that's first time doing it. Since you're used to it, familiar with it, give us some tips on how do you manage 3 kids. Some maybe even just 1 kid is something, that's a lot.
Yes.
But how do you manage the 3 kids along with working this full-time job? Because I'm assuming that since it's your own business, you're working very odd hours. So is that a good thing or a bad thing? And, tell us about that.
Okay, so I call it popcorn work, because you kind of pop up here and do a little bit, you kind of pop up here and do a little bit. And then for me, it's a lot of late night working. So once the kids go to sleep, I can really concentrate. And then in order to get prepared for them the next day, I have to get up before they do. So it's a lot less sleep than we're used to. It's kind of like those college days, right? It's like, oh my God, I can't stay up like I used to, but you're not really having all the fun that you were, because
Right.
then you could dance the night away and you'd be fine. But
Exactly.
now it's kind of like a lot of work all throughout the day. So here's my tip. And this is naturally what I do as an event planner, is you have to be organized and you have to plan out something. I'm not going to say like plan out the whole week. Don't plan out everything, because what I also want to say is have fun with it, because I think parents get so engulfed in, oh my God, I have to do this and I have to do this, and take what the teachers are giving you, because let me tell you, the teachers are just as frustrated as everybody else. They themselves have not figured out everything that needs to be done. So I think as a parent, what I was most challenged with at the beginning was the fact that I could not communicate with the teachers as much. So I was not really sure what my kid was supposed to be doing. So here's my tip. Get what you can virtually online. If your teacher hasn't sent a link, don't get frustrated. Don't get overwhelmed. Get a book and have your kid read a book. Give them some time off of the screen. Get some chapter books. Libraries are giving away stuff. If you go to like Office Depot is giving away books in the back of the store, and they're Scholastic books. These are really good books. Most of the farmers markets in the areas where I live, there's 3 in the 3rd Ward area that I know for a fact are being filled with, they have library books, community libraries. You can just go and get books. And I know for a fact that they are being refilled on a regular basis. So if you need information and locations of those, please hit me up. I can definitely tell you where to go to get books. And if you just need some books, please let me know. I have collected books over the years of teaching. And because people know that I am, I constantly give away books as well for the teen program that I mentorship with. We just have books. People are giving us books and we save them. We can definitely give them away. And then the other tip is, so I know everybody has phones. I get it. I use my calendar on my phone too, but here's a planner. And this is the one I think I was talking about in a video where Pat got a chance to see it.
Yeah.
But this is just the reason why I like this is it's easier to see. The kids can see this also. It's like a master calendar, right? And for me, this is also important because it's my faith. It's my faith that keeps us going, because you're going to be frustrated. You're going to be overwhelmed. You're just not going to be able to handle everything, but you're going to have something as an outlet. Some people it's working out. Some people it's cooking. For me, it's just my quiet time. So this book happens to have a devotional time. Like it has a devotion, like just to start my morning off. I do it also with my kids. So we have a quick devotion time before our day gets started. So it kind of helps them to get into a positive place.
That's good.
And then we have our master calendar. And so the kids can see what's color coded in here. They can see special dates. And then we have it by the week and by the hour. Now you don't have to do by the hour, but for me that works because I'm homeschooling. So they have to have something to keep on schedule. But for parents, just make time for yourself first, because you're no good to the kids if you haven't taken care of yourself. And then secondly, just have a plan for the week. Like, they can work for 3 hours of a block. And I know some of the schools are making them sit on the computers for a very long time. I checked with some of our church kids. They're having to sit on the computers for 5-hour blocks. That's not easy for a kid. That's hard.
That's hard, yeah.
So I would suggest to parents have snacks, like cut up apples, little cereal. If you don't have time to do the cut up apples, just cut up some, just take some bowl of cereal, have some snacks for the kids to munch on like every hour. It will help. Have the kids take a quick 5-minute break. Yeah. Have a 5-minute break to just like run around and do something fun during that 5 minutes. Like have a sock party, right? Like throw socks at each other, something to make the kids laugh or feel happy before they have to come back. Otherwise, they've already mentally shut down. There's just no way kids can sit in front of the computer that long.
Right. That's some good tips. And I really like the idea of having the planner, because in times like this, it's everything. People get so frustrated because they're not organized, and that's why you're frustrated, because you're not aware of the next step. And if something comes up, you just stuck. You're in a rut, and you need to know, like, okay, well, if something comes up, I still got a plan to do something else. So, like they said, if you don't plan to win, if you don't plan, you're planning to fail. It's a recipe for failure. So, and I also really like that you involve the devotionals in there, because that just sets the mood during the day, just sets the tone.
Yes.
And I think that's real good to have that positive energy and that vibe, just starting the day and getting that rhythm going. And then it's a reminder too of like, okay, blessed to be alive, and in this time of the this time of the world today and during the pandemic, but we still have a lot to be thankful for.
Absolutely. And I just, it's not about like doing the whole Bible beating for the kids, because sometimes it just goes over their head, right? They don't quite understand what's happening out in the world. But it's just giving them something to put a smile on their face, something to make them feel happy. I did find this. I was actually getting my stuff ready for school. So I found these. They're prayers to share. It's 100 little empowering notes for kids. So what I did was I bought this little clear stand from Dollar Tree. And they fit perfectly in there. So this is day 1. And literally, like, you can just slide it in and out. So I'm going to change them out every day. And all it says is hello, sunshine, like just a little positive something to put on their desk. That would help. And it would also help the parents. I mean, like, I read this yesterday. It kind of made me feel good, right?
Yeah.
And then what I've also done is I've involved my kids in almost everything. So we talk about like, okay, today's going to be a crock pot meal. Somebody's going to take care of this. And then my daughter, she does like to cook. She loves breakfast. And here we're a Southern household. So, we got to do.
Couldn't hear you.
I'm sorry. We have to do like grits and eggs at this house all the time. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry about that. Can y'all hear me?
I hear you now.
Okay. I'm so sorry about that.
No problem.
So yeah, it's I just get them involved in certain things for the household.
Oh, it's doing it again.
Sorry.
Somebody's trying to catch you for an event.
I know. That's that hotline.
Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
I hear you.
Okay, yeah, I'm sorry about that.
Event. I could definitely tell that you had I could definitely tell that you had that teacher mentality, because you're so creative with all of these little things. I'm sure your students are like, they're always busy with stuff, doing with creative little arts and little things in the classroom. Yes. That's really nice.
And that's what I encourage the parents. The virtual learning is hard, but if they could just add on one hands-on activity, if it's, like I tell you, you don't have to buy a lot of stuff. I saved my toilet paper rolls, and the other day my daughter made some little robots. out of toilet paper rolls and aluminum foil. I mean, it does not take a lot of stuff to be creative and let the kids, be involved with certain things. And I have my older kids help with her. Like today, my son who's going into high school, I mean, they don't want to do the little kids, but just to get them off of technology, away from their phones for a little bit, read to the younger one. Audible books are amazing. It's really good for the imagination. So if they don't want to read, play something on an Audible. The library has free Audible channels that you can actually get. So you can download Audible books from the library for free and just play an Audible book, just so they're not on the computer, but they're still learning, because they have to imagine it, and that really helps.
That's awesome. And we wish we can have you on a little longer, but we got a couple other guests. That's
absolutely. I totally understand.
So before you go, please let people know where they could find you on social media. And do you give tips like this on your own social media?
So on my I do. I have my own Artistic Celebrations Facebook page. I am also on Facebook as Tessie Window. I do live videos pretty often. And on my Pinterest board, I have several organizing tips. I have a homeschool board. I have several party event boards. And I also have the Healthier, Happier Me board, because it talks about how to take care of yourself in the process. So a lot of boards on Pinterest. You can follow me on Pinterest, Facebook, or Instagram under Artistic Celebrations, and on Facebook under Tessie Window as well. And I'm on LinkedIn also for more corporate style events.
Awesome. So we'll definitely put that under the post so people can find you. I know if they didn't catch it now, we'll make sure we put it on the comment sections or in the post for everybody. So I appreciate you coming on, my Baylor Bear alumni. So I know Sikkim, huh? So appreciate that. You got any final words for Lloyd?
No, I was just gonna say, man, everything you said was very informative. I'm definitely gonna follow you. Pat had nothing but great things to say about you leading up to tonight's podcast. So I'm an Aggie, y'all. So I'm sorry I'm not.
Boo.
Yeah.
but no, for real, everything was very informative, and I have my one child going to high school, but I'm trying to find ways where he's just not on the iPad all day and be creative. So I appreciate your time and the knowledge that you gave us tonight.
Absolutely. If anybody needs any personal help, please feel free to direct message me on Facebook. We also do private vision board parties, and those are a real success, especially for the teenage kids. But we also do them with corporate level, so we can age appropriate it. But those are very helpful to get started and to have your vision for the next level for yourself and to set goals. So definitely hit me up.
All right, we'll definitely connect.
Thank you, guys.
We'll definitely
connect and collaborate pretty soon. So
absolutely, y'all stay blessed.
You too.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
All right. Hold on one second. There we go. So that was a good segment right there with Miss Wendell.
Very good, very good. But I mean, the thing that I really liked about it is how she's saying that you don't have to spend a lot of money. With kids being at home, you have to find a way to keep their interest and keep their attention. And she hit the nail on the head with that. So that was very good, man.
Yeah, being creative. That's what's lost nowadays. So it's like
everything is iPad, everything is technology, and I mean, I'm sure this next generation, they all gonna have to wear glasses because they're all on the screen like this.
Yeah, just like that.
So, all right, man. Our next guest, man, is another school administrator. He has his hand all into our community. He's a reverend, but he's also he's also looking at his resume is well documented. He works with Jarvis Johnson, if you're in the Texas area. He's also, I see pictures with our mayor in Houston, Sylvester Turner. We have Reverend Nico Matthews. We supposed to bring him on here. Let's see.
There we go.
Reverend Nico Matthews. We are very grateful to have you. Your resume is very well documented. School administrator, professor, adjunct with Lone Star College. Thank you for being here with us tonight.
I can't hear nothing.
Okay, can you hear us?
No. I'm telling you now.
Cause we can hear you. So
Yeah, we can hear you. You can't hear us? Let me try to remove him and bring him back in.
it might be something on his side.
Right. Okay. He's gonna try to come back in. So just to fill in, I mean, again, this has been the number one topic. I don't know about you, but on my timeline, a lot of school districts have already started early. HISD in our area, Houston Independent School District, they don't start until September 8th. But a lot of school districts have started earlier. And again, it's impacting three different dynamics. You have not only the kids, which is the most important, but the teachers. There's a lot of
Yeah.
teachers who've been around for years and years, and now you're throwing a whole new, it's a curveball to them.
Right.
And then parents. What if you, the thing I didn't think about this. Think about this, Pat. What if you're a teacher? Your profession is a teacher, but then now you have kids that you have your own kids, plus you have to teach kids.
Mm-hmm.
Bro, I don't know. I'm praying for that. Like,
Yeah.
that's tough.
I don't know. To be honest with you, I used to know a lot of teachers that did not have kids, and I was like, well, I kind of feel like they're like their kids are in the classroom, so it kind of made sense. It's like they have kids, but it's not their own. It's all the 30 kids in the classroom.
Right.
Okay, now I can hear y'all. I couldn't hear. I'm sorry.
Okay, you can hear us now.
Okay. Well, what we were just talking about, we're grateful to have you. Basically, your resume speaks for itself, Mr. Reverend Nico Matthews. We see that you're an adjunct professor with the Lone Star College, school administrator, well, documented and communicated with the community. I see that you work with John Johnson. He's one of our neighbors.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And then he's one of our neighbors. So thank you for coming to the show tonight.
Let me give you the welcome that you did earlier. Let me make sure I got it. Let me make sure I got it for you. Hold on one second. Here we go. Let me start over for you.
A round of applause.
Yeah, we had to give you a round of applause. So welcome, sir. This is my first time meeting you, but like I said, I've seen your resume and saw a lot of great things that you've done and still doing. So go ahead and give us a little background on how you got to the point where you're at right now.
Oh man, I got to education by default when I graduated from PD. It was the beginning of the 2008, I guess, meltdown of the economy, and so I needed a job. So I got an education. I was a teacher's assistant, and I liked it. Did that for a year. Enrolled in grad school, and I left K through 12. Went to work for Lone Star. Then I came back to K through 12, and that's where I've been the past 10 years actually. And so, of course, I still do like community work as well. That's kind of the short version.
Okay.
Okay. Well, I think the biggest thing. Oh, I think did we lose?
Look like we lost them somehow.
Okay.
We're dealing with technology.
Technology, and see,
Internet.
I think this is a microcosm for this show.
Mm-hmm.
The app, what a lot of people are experiencing with day to day. That's how I already started school right now. So, we didn't plan this. Everybody that's viewing and watching us live right now, thank you for watching us. By the way, on Facebook Live. I think we have Reverend Matthews back here.
This technology is crazy. Okay.
Okay. Hey, you know what? We were explaining to our viewers that, hey, this is a microcosm. This is why we wanted to talk about this, because it's technology
Right.
it is what it is, right?
Yes.
Right. So I guess getting into it, what from your opinion, what do you think is the biggest obstacle? You know, I can't even say post pandemic because we're in it right now. That the teachers are going through. We kind of know what the students are going through, but on the administration side, what are some of the biggest obstacles that from an administrator on the school side that they're going through?
Well, from an administrative standpoint, it's a lot of work on our end, but I really feel bad for teachers. Here's why I say that. In America, in our K through 12 system, it is not designed for online learning. And so we're trying to take hundreds of years of teaching and roll it up within a month's time into an online system. And you put teachers in a very bad position, because you have some teachers teaching online and face to face. So they're
Mm-hmm.
preparing online lessons, they're preparing face to face lessons. You have kids that have accommodations. They don't learn like regular kids. So you have to make those preparations for those online kids and then those
Mm-hmm.
face to face kids. And then you have all these other avenues that come of virtual learning. And so it's very hard on teachers. And so from an administrative standpoint, all we're doing it really is pass on the information to the teacher. Here's what
Mm-hmm.
you now have to do. And so um, I spend more time um, motivating teachers than I do actually doing work, because they're humans. They have families.
Mm-hmm.
They have children. It really puts them in a bad spot, and they have to really be very, very flexible. I'm talking about veteran teachers who've been teaching 20, 25 years are now having to teach to a computer.
Mm-hmm.
That's
That's
you
very
know,
hard.
very hard. And I'll tell you, and from a learning standpoint, I don't learn well online. I quit two graduate programs because it was online. You send me to grad school face to face, I graduate top of the class because
Yep.
of my learning style. So I can only imagine having to teach face to face and having to learn face to face.
That's a good
So
point.
so would you say? I'm sorry, Pat. I don't know. I
Mm-hmm.
was so. Would you say maybe the biggest obstacle? Because I can't speak for Pat, but I know personally myself, I see a lot of frustration from teachers right now, as you were stating, Reverend
Hmm.
Matthews. And so, would you
Uh-huh.
say that the expectations, like you said, old school teaching, old school format, and just rolled up into, hey, this is what it is, this is what you have to do. And it's like, I think me personally, my opinion, this is just my opinion, I think everything has been rushed to get kids back on time and back to school, and it hasn't
Absolutely.
been well thought out. And so you're pressing an agenda on to these teachers, like you said, veteran teachers, 20-25 years, to do something that they've never done, and to be able to teach this to kids. And I think that is a big issue.
It's a great issue because again, as I said, we're not designed for this online learning. Listen, first of all, um, in the African American community and even in our Hispanic community, everybody goes to work. We didn't have stay at home mamas. We
Mm-hmm.
didn't have we sure didn't have no stay at home daddy.
Right. Right.
So we don't have to sit there and teach us online. Now our parents taught us. Don't get me wrong; they taught us values and principles and things of that nature. But they were not teaching us the classroom work. And so you roll this stuff in because here's what we did, man. We made a health pandemic a political crisis. What I mean
Mm-hmm.
by that, we made this political. We got to get these kids back into the classroom. If
Mm-hmm.
not, the federal government said, your president said, we're going to cut funding. Why? Money's there. You're not going to. spend any more money than you normally would by having that kid at home.
Right.
And so, in actuality, you would have saved some money. Bus is not running. Fuel is not. You're not utilizing a lot of fuel. Not utilizing utilities as much. So you save money.
You are.
So, so we made this political and said, well, we got to have one in the classroom. They got to be in school. So we're going to make this stuff as um, as quickly as possible. Like, I've had parents call. I had a parent tell me that her child, she has one kid in my school, another kid in another school in the second grade. Teacher gave that kid 60 homework assignments. Why?
Hmm.
60 homework assignments in the second grade? That's ridiculous.
That's crazy.
So we are putting, and it's not the, and you again, you put teachers in the catch 22 because they're just trying to do their job, make sure they get their check.
Mm-hmm.
We gave these teachers a blank assignment. Teach the kids. This is what we're going to use. We're going to use the online stuff. How you do it, we don't really know, but just do it. And so again, you put them in bad spots. You put parents in bad spots because these parents say, I don't have time to commit to making sure my kid logs into the computer, making sure my kid does their homework on this online system. Even like we know about online because we went to school, we didn't have online.
Right.
We didn't know what online was perhaps till maybe even we got to college. I got to PV. I don't remember too many online classes, and I ain't
Right.
that old. So you know what I'm saying? Can you
And that,
imagine grandparents? And again, back to our communities. See, we don't. I know when we the black and brown communities, we're always at a greater disadvantage because a lot of times it's our grandparents, great uncles, great aunties that's raising our kids.
that's what
Can
I was
you
thinking.
imagine a 65-year-old grandma trying to help their kid get logged on, turn on a Chromebook? I had a parent, 60 years old. Well, I mean, I don't know what this Chromebook is. I said, yes, sir. Well, Chromebook. They don't know about that.
Mm-mm.
So, can you imagine all those kids that don't have a regular structured home that are already at a disadvantage? Now the disadvantage even broadens. Virtual learning is going to kill education if we're not careful.
And you know what?
But you know what?
I was gonna say real quick.
Go
Working
ahead, Pat.
at a college, I'm seeing a lot of frustrated students, and all of that's doing is adding more. That frustration is transferring to the instructors, and now it's just a big group of folks that are trying to do what's right, but everybody's frustrated, and that's why when you said you're a motivator of these instructors, that's a good thing because they're going to need that because this is something new. And if you got a student that's frustrated, a lot of times they're just going to quit and give up and try to do
That,
something different.
and that's why I said if we're not careful, virtual education will kill education because our kids are not suitable learners for virtual learning.
Mm-hmm.
They're not. So if I'm in the 10th grade, 11th grade, and I'm pissed off and I'm frustrated with this virtual learning, chances are I'm gonna do what? I'm gonna quit. Kids already could drop out of school, especially in the Hispanic community. Those kids they go to work in the ninth grade. I had students that would leave home after the fall semester and would go work the fields and wouldn't come back till next year.
Okay, I'm gonna play devil's advocate real quick with you, Reverend Matthews. So,
Hmm.
um,
And Nico is
I,
fine. You
I,
can call
I,
me Nico.
I think, I think, I think some of this goes on parents' ownership as well, because I think a lot of parents were just they used to just drop their child off and expect the whole learning, everything responsibility to be on the teachers. It was so much. It was a lot of stress on teachers and school administrators before the pandemic. Now
True.
we have the pandemic, and so it kind of the tide and turn. It's pressure on teachers. It's pressure on the teachers and the school administrators. But now guess who have to help that 5-year-old, that
Right.
6-year-old with schoolwork? Guess who have to help that ninth grader, going to high school with schoolwork? Now parents are stressed out, but now they see it's just kind of like the father that has to stay at home he had to be quarantined with the family. Now he sees what a stay-at-home mom has to go through all day. You like, well, I pay the bills. You should be good, right? But now you have to see everything that she does on a day-to-day basis, and now you have a whole new respect for it. So I kind of feel like parents have their respect for teachers now, because they just will drop their kid off. Hey, I pick my kid up. He plays sport. I'm gonna tire him out. Take your shower, eat, boom, go to sleep. You should be good. Now it's on the parents now. You know what I mean?
Well, the responsibility has always been on the parent to make sure that their child is learning. Here's the problem: we have exposed the lack of it. What I mean by that, because you're absolutely right. The problem is, in our community, we're only involved in our kids' schooling when it comes to sports, band, cheerleading, dance. But when it comes to their academics, we just assume they're doing what they're supposed to be doing. We skip open house. We don't belong to the PTA. We're not. We don't go to meet the teacher. We don't go to. We don't call the school periodically. We don't just show up. We don't know that.
We're being reactive instead of proactive.
Right, and not proactive. So when you get that, when they tell you that your child not go past the school year, you acting a fool to make nobody call you. But man, we done called you on all 12 of your cricket numbers that you done gave us.
Like why cricket? No, just
I'm just saying, man, listen, I worked in Fifth Ward for 3 years, and I I got all kind of excuses. But at the end of the day, I had in Fifth Ward, my elementary school was 70% Hispanic. You hear me?
In Fifth Ward,
28% African American. I had about 25 parents in my PTA. 24 of them were Hispanic. I had one African American parent. What did that tell you?
Now that's a great take right there. That's perfect. Because I mean, you can't be mad at a school administrator or a teacher or your child if you're not being proactive, like Pat said, being proactive and interactive in your child's education.
Can you hear us?
You on mute?
I should be.
I can't hear you, Lloyd.
Can you hear me?
I can't hear nobody.
Nobody? Okay. So probably having that same technical issue from earlier.
And we I don't know if he can hear
Hello?
us, but
can you hear us? No? So how about we do this? You want to bring him back right after the next guest, and we can do that and finish up.
Okay, yeah, that sounds good to me.
Okay.
All right, so we can remove. If you can you hear us now, Reverend Matthews?
Nope.
He can't. Okay, so we'll remove him, and he has some great points. Hopefully, if he can hear us, because we are streaming live on Facebook. So thank you for everybody that is watching us. Our next guest is from the University of Texas, and I hate to say that, Texas University. First it was Baylor. Now y'all just trying to kill me tonight. But anyway, she's a principal in our area with elementary students, Miss Kelly Upshaw. So we're about to bring you on with no further ado. Thank you so much for coming on to our show.
Hi, thank you.
Welcome.
So can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so hopefully the third time is the charm. We will have no technical difficulties. I'm on my laptop. I'm on my good Wi-Fi. Hopefully everything will work well.
Speak it into existence. That's what I'm talking
I
about.
shall. I'm going to claim it.
Claim it.
And see, y'all both Greek, Pat Kappa, you're a Delta, so
Crimson
y'all
and
Greek,
cream.
y'all
I'm
Greek
feeling
too.
it.
I can't see the screen.
But
Crimson and
thank
cream.
you, thank you for so much for coming. I know, we had to go through some red tape to make sure that you're good and you're here. How's everything been going so far in this current school year for yourself?
It's definitely a lot smoother now. A-Leaf, I believe we were definitely the first public school district that went back to school. We actually started August 6th. So this would have been our third full week, but just as every other district, we don't have school for the rest of the week. So we're just finishing up about 3 weeks. Our first week we started on a Thursday, so I don't really count it completely. But this was going into our third full week. So it's gotten a lot smoother. It was just a little bumpy. As you can see, we're having technology issues. As you can imagine, there have been a lot of technology issues. A lot of our parents, there was a technology gap. And so just trying to fill that right now. So it's getting better. We're still trying to get devices into the hands of parents and kind of those skills, making videos that we didn't know we would need to make. But just you kind of learn once you figure out what people need. And we're just trying to meet the needs of parents as well as our teachers and our students.
And now with the technology needs, is everybody being accommodated? For instance, all of the kids, I'm not sure how many hundreds or thousands of students and that you have to, assist, but does everybody say, hey, I need a computer, I need an iPad, I need something, I need somebody to pay for my internet? Are you running into a lot of those issues?
Well, yes, but as a district, A-Leaf, and we ordered these devices way back in April and May, and that's how long it kind of took for a lot of them to get here. But we ordered 30,000 devices, mainly Chromebooks, about 16,000 hotspots to meet those needs. So in order to go 100% virtual, you have to give the parents what they need in order to allow their kids to go virtual. So we're continuing to do that. I know in some districts, they were able to kind of give Chromebooks with some instructions on, hey, go download these extensions or these apps if you have an iPad. On our campus, because we know about the technology gap ahead of time, we're completely processing every Chromebook that goes through. So we've done over 450 already. So when we hand it to the parents, they don't have to go and download anything. They don't have to add a Chrome extension. Their kid's name is already on the home screen. We just
nice.
give them those passwords. But even with that, it's still some, hiccups we've had with the parents actually getting into A-Leaf Hub, which is kind of our landing area, and then Schoology, which is our learning management system. So we're learning by default. We're up late at night making videos, trying to show parents what it should look like, giving them passwords that we didn't know they would need, just because it's different when we're doing things on campus. And then when you're doing it from Wi-Fi at home, there's some automatic things that happen on campus that are not automatically going to happen when you're actually on your home Wi-Fi. So we're getting there. It's getting better. And, I can definitely say for those parents who are frustrated and school just started, show grace to our teachers and our schools. We're all in this together. It's a partnership. We're going to get through it. It's a process. And so allow that process to take place. And I promise it'll get a lot smoother.
I was just going to piggyback on what you were saying, Kelly, which was excellent. Is there anything that a parent can do to be proactive as far as because you're saying it's a technology gap. So is there something is it like some tutorial classes they can take on their own or something that they can do so it won't feel like it's such a big gap to help their children and, put the blame or the onus on the teachers?
Well, definitely, I know, at least in A-Leaf, I can only speak on what A-Leaf is doing, but our family centers have been doing virtual online help sessions where they have morning and afternoon where you can get specific help to what your needs are through Zoom. And they have people who are helping with that. Even many of our campuses, we even have a technology support form that you can fill out and then tell us what the issue is. We kind of get back with you, for the ones I can help, I get on there and I start calling them. I was on Zoom with a parent yesterday trying to help her get her kid into the iPad that we gave her to use or checked out for her to use. So a lot of different things, but definitely Google is my best friend, trying to figure out how to use some of these things. I've never had to use Zoom as much as I've had to use it, recently. So if I don't know how to do something, I get on Google and I kind of look for a video. There's a video for everything out there.
There is
just kind of doing those things.
Yeah, YouTube, Google, it's a lot to learn on there. I had a question about just your roles, like compared to, this is your 5th year as a principal, and of course this year is much different. Do you feel like you're learning more during this pandemic and in these roles and responsibilities? Are they the similar roles, or now that, of course, there's a lot of online things that's being instituted, do you feel like your roles are changing?
I think the role is still the same. It's just trying to make things so we can work smarter and not harder. I think that's the biggest thing. A lot of the things we would normally do on campus that are paper-based, turning those into a Google form or making it more streamlined. Like we said, the device waiting list form, and then we send you a link, and Google Translate is my best friend. Just as Reverend Matthews was saying, my campus is 70% bilingual. I speak some Spanish. I'm not bilingual. But I still need to get the information to our parents that they need. So I have a Google Voice number. So if they need help, I can text it to them. I just kind of translate, and we kind of have conversations that way. So it's really the same types of things, just finding out how to move them online and how to make sure that everyone is successful in being able to do whatever their position is while we're working virtually, whether it's on campus, but, without parents coming in or students in, or whether it's online with the things we're doing that way.
So they don't have an option to do face-to-faces. Everything is online, right?
Right now, we are 100% online. A-Leaf is actually in a very, I would say, unique situation. You know how they talk about the top zip codes with positive COVID cases? Out of the top 5, 3 of those are A-Leaf zip codes. So 77036, 77072, which is where my campus is in that zip code, and then 77099. So 3 of those top ones are in our area. My campus is completely apartments. So we don't have any students who come from single family homes. And I think that kind of goes against trying to stop the spread when a lot of people live near each other and you're sharing the same railings, you're sharing, the same gate knobs, or, things like that you really don't think about. And so A-Leaf, we're trying to stay 100% virtual because of that situation. For now, there is no face-to-face option. And when, the science and the data, that's what our superintendent says, Mr. Chambers, when it says that it's safe for us to go back in, then, that's when we'll make those decisions and how that's going to look when it is time.
Okay. I have 2 questions for you, Kelly. So twofold question here.
Okay.
So being a principal and everything, did you guys have to like alter your expectations for the teachers? Because I know they have certain expectations they have to meet. And so with them now being all virtual, did you have to alter the expectations of the teachers? Did you have to like lessen it or get harder or just change it all together? That's the first one.
Yeah. Okay. Let me answer that one first, because now I'll forget it. Right. So I think from a content perspective, the district has really been the lead on the content part of it and kind of what's taught, how it's taught. Just like they were saying, I think the first lady who talked and saying, we have kids online for way too long. We found out the first week that our original plan, we did have kids and teachers online way too long. So kind of went back to the drawing board and kind of make it, smaller amounts of times that kids are doing that screen, because screen fatigue is real. And you mentioned people needing glasses. I had to get glasses after we did our pandemic stuff back in April and May. I wear readers now because I can't see as well as I did before. And I think it does have a lot to do with the screen, but we had to go back and revamp some things. And so all I ask is that teachers be as prepared as they can be, but I understand that there's just that extra step now because I can't go to the copy machine and run off a copy of the assignment. I actually have to input that assignment into Schoology, and I have to type it in. If I want it to be multiple choice, I have to make those. So there's just that extra prepping. And so trying to give them as much extra time as we can during the school day so that they can do that. But, from a district perspective, there are still expectations of what should take place as far as instruction is concerned each day.
Okay. And then my second question, so one of our viewers, Jean Williams, she had a couple of questions, but she's saying virtual learning is hard. She has a 5-year-old and she's saying that they're struggling.
Yeah.
And she has a lot to deal with. She says she feels like her child is not learning anything. So do you guys like? I know you guys meet a lot. I know teachers and then school administrators meet a lot. Are you taking this feedback constructively and being like, okay, like I know you just said basically that y'all found out that being online too much early was too much for everybody, but like, how do you take this feedback? Because it's been a lot of frustration that I can just see on the outside looking in from parents in regards to this whole virtual learning.
Oh, definitely. And we definitely understand and we know how parents feel. You know, kids have been home. We left for spring break back in March and we haven't been back in school since. So we know that kids have been home for over 5 months. And, you know, some of them may or may not have had some type of instruction or, you know, some type of academic work that their parents have put them on or if they went to summer school. So we totally understand that. I think the most important thing to look at is the first thing that a lot of schools are doing are assessing students and trying to see, okay, where are they? A lot of that is going to be on online assessments in our particular district. That's iReady and iStation, and that's our math and our reading program. So definitely allowing your kids to get on those. And, you know, we see a lot of parodies of parents kind of helping in the background and whispering answers to their kids and all these funny videos. But when your kids are taking, and we want parents to help their kids. Nobody's saying don't let parents help kids. But the things that we're doing at the beginning of the school year are to figure out where the kids are. So we can determine which kids need interventions. So we can determine which kids need to come to small group instruction, because the reality is whole group instruction online virtually is difficult. You cannot meet the needs of 20 kids in a whole group lesson online for 15 to 20 minutes. So really what we're trying to do is identify those small groups so that we can come back and the teacher can have a smaller group of 4 to 5 kids. And so an interventionist can have another group of 4 to 5 kids and they can work with them on their levels. However, if parents are helping their kids with these assessments, the data is skewed. And so if your kids show that they don't need extra help, they're not going to get it. So I think, you know, just kind of having a fine balance as a parent, I know that's hard. We want our kids to do well. Kids are really getting grades this time around. So making sure you want your kids to have good grades, but what you don't want to do is end up actually removing them from some of those extra services that they could get. And definitely at 5, it's tough. You know, we do a lot of brain breaks, we do a lot of videos, we do a lot of cartoon type things, a lot of singing, a lot of things like that. And just, it gets better. I will say it will get better that kids, it's just the routine. It's like that when we're really on campus. Kindergarten and pre-K kids are all over the place in the beginning. But until they learn those routines and really making sure you set up a schedule, just like the first lady was saying, make sure you do set up a schedule so that your child gets used to what you're doing every day. They may be fidgety now, they may be all these other things, but when they get in that schedule, then it should get better.
I had a question, like as far as moving forward, do you think this is how it's just going to be moving forward? Or are we going to just end up moving to online in the next 5 years? Is going to be 50-50 online and face-to-face, or do you think it might be 80-20, you know, or do you think we're going to eventually go back to the old ways?
No, I definitely feel we'll go back to regular instruction. I can tell you right now, definitely at elementary level, there will not be teachers saying, let's go 100% virtual. There will not be administrators saying, let's go 100% virtual, because I can say I've worked more hours now than I did. And I thought I worked a lot when I was on campus. It's even worse now because this is my dining room, but it's also next to my bedroom. And, you know, there's no separation of the two, right? So I'm checking emails late. But I think because I think at the end of the day, that face-to-face, that really being able to be with kids. And I mean, we're going to go back to that. You know, it's just right now, it's just not safe. And when you look at, you know, if I think about the many health conditions that a lot of my colleagues have, or even just people on my own staff, and the reality of this pandemic and the reality that many of us know someone who has passed away. You know, we've had a colleague that passed away as well as a relative. I've had a relative, and those people had underlying conditions. And so just knowing those things as a leader, and our superintendent says it all the time, like, you can't take that back. Once you make that decision and someone is sick and, you know, God forbid something happens to them. So we should not unknowingly or knowingly go into a situation that could be detrimental. And we have a lot of teachers and educators in general who do have high blood pressure. Teaching is stressful. Yeah. You know, obesity, that's me myself, right? You know, we don't get the type of activity we need. We're in front of computers. We don't have, you know, our school is only so big and just taking time for self. like these are all high risk factors. And a lot of our teachers have it. And so just making sure that it's safe to go back, but we'll definitely go back. I don't think any of us are hoping for 100% virtual for years to come.
Yeah, and I definitely this is my first time working from home, and I definitely understand it'll be days where I'm like, well, nothing's on TV. Let me log into my laptop and check a couple of things, or let me just work a couple of hours here and there. And it's like, especially, if you salary, you can work on a Sunday if you want to, but you got to realize you don't want to burn yourself out. So you got to be aware.
And that's hard. It's very hard as a leader. It's easier for me to send an email at 3 a.m. and people be like, why did you send that at 3 a.m.? Well, I was up going to the bathroom and I checked it, and, and that's my fault. But if somebody needs information, I want them to have that information. So, yeah. So I don't think this is good for any of our health at this point,
right.
To stay virtual, and we won't stay virtual. As soon as we're able to go back safely, we will go back.
And we have one more good question. This is a very good question, especially since you're on the, you are principal on the elementary level. It says, how does a parent get a young child to focus long enough to complete their assessment?
I will tell you that what I have found is, and sometimes with the assessments, you may have to give younger kids a little bit of a break. So even on campus, certain assessments, because they have to be on there longer, we don't do it all in one sitting. We may have them go on for 10 minutes or what have you. And then the next day we come back and they do another 10 minutes. Most of those, if you're talking about the universal screeners like the iReady and iStation, most of those will pick back up when the kid gets back on. So you can give your kid brain breaks. You may want to set a timer and tell them, okay, I need you to focus and do the assessment. I'm gonna set the timer. So when the timer goes off, you're going to get a break, but I'm also going to let you do X, Y, and Z. I'm going to let you color, or I'm going to let you play with your favorite toy or whatever it is, so that they understand, like, I'll be focused for this long, but when I hear the timer go off, I can stop and then I can come back. So I would just say, just double check with the teacher, because most of those you are able to come back to, and it just picks up where the child left off. But double check with the school, because I don't want to give misinformation if it's a different system than what we're using.
Great insight. Good advice. And hopefully Jean won't be one of the parents in the background, because she might go viral on Instagram or TikTok. I know y'all got some parents that you say in the background whispering and
yes, and they're hilarious. Like, I'm watching them and I'm listening and I'm like, but that's really somebody's parent that's really doing that. They're just making a parody of it. But I will say one other thing as far as being online. I really recommend, like, the same way that my back is facing a wall or to a wall, that you put your child that same way. A lot of our parents don't realize, like, that little camera and your child's head is small, so we see everything else going on in the household. And you just want to make sure that you do have some sense of privacy. You don't want to walk around and whatever you walk around in the house thinking, well, nobody sees it. But unfortunately they do. Yeah. Just kind of making it where there aren't distractions, behind your child. And then you're also maintaining your own level of privacy. So that's definitely, I think, an important tip for parents as well.
Awesome.
Excellent. All right. Well, we're not going to hold you up all night, Miss Kelly. Any nuggets you can, out of all the nuggets you dropped tonight, what's the biggest one a parent can take away from you, or maybe even a teacher, maybe even a student? Like, what advice would you give someone, in your opinion, that they can take away and be like, okay, it's going to be okay. We're going to be all right. We're going to make it through this pandemic.
I think the biggest thing, and I may have already said it, like just giving each other grace and giving yourself grace, and understanding that whether you're a parent or an administrator, things haven't, like my Zoom meeting a couple of days ago went like the start of y'all's podcast today, right? And I was frustrated. I was like, my meetings don't go this way. This is not what happens. My meetings go well. But I just had to say, you know what, just laugh it off. Nobody's thinking about that. And so as a parent, doing the same thing and knowing what you can and can't handle. If your kid can't be online live every single day, then make sure you know when those times are that they can be, and you talk to the teacher. So if they're getting small group instruction, maybe those are the days they can get it. But also making sure that your child does go into the learning management system every single day to complete those activities by, I know for our district, it's by 11:59, because you want your child's attendance to be taken and you want your child's, to be present at school. So even if you can't do the live stuff, go in the evening and watch the videos that have been recorded by the teachers, do the assignments, and do all those things. Number one, so your child can get credit for their grades, but also so they're marked as present at school each day, and that you're not wondering why they have absences when, right, we're learning from home. So just give yourself grace, give yourself time, and it does get better. I promise.
I appreciate that.
Well, I know your Twitter is about to get blown up because they say we can hit you at Upshaw_Kelly on
Yes.
Twitter. So parents,
I haven't posted much lately on there, but yes, it is there.
Okay, great. So we're gonna post it on, like Pat said earlier, on the comments. Make sure. But if anyone has any questions or everything, did you have any final thoughts, Pat, for Miss Upshaw here?
Oh, I just appreciate you coming on the show, and it was a lot of good insight on what you was able to share with us. So I'm gonna actually recommend a lot of people that had questions that may or may not have been on the show. I'm gonna recommend them to actually try to follow you. And where can they? What was your Twitter?
Upshaw_Kelly with an I.
Okay.
On Twitter. Like I said, I haven't put a whole lot out there, but you can also follow our school. We're on Facebook, Alief Landis Elementary School, because there's a lot of resources that we do put on there for parents. So definitely, if they're looking for a lot of parent resources, there's special programs for low-cost Wi-Fi, for parents for only $10 a month and things like that. Those are a lot of the things that we share on there. So definitely, if you follow the school, you'll get a lot of the same information that our parents in Alief are getting, whether you're in Alief or not.
Okay, that's good. So it's resources for everybody.
Yeah, a lot of them are just basic resources. Some of them are definitely, for A-Leaf parents because it's geared toward what we're doing in our district. But we share it. We share a lot of good information out.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Well, thank you. Y'all are my first podcast I've ever been on. So now I think I want to be on more somewhere. So I'm gonna go find one.
You did awesome, for real. We really appreciate you being here, and you dropped some dimes. She didn't drop nuggets, Pat. She dropped dimes.
Drop dimes.
And thanks for the shout out, Hook 'em Horns. I know y'all have a Bearcat on there. You're a cougar, right? Are you a cougar? Aren't you a cougar?
Yes, I'm a cougar now.
Yes. I did take 2 classes there one summer back in the late 90s. So I guess that counts. I used to go there.
Okay.
Y'all alumni.
All right. Y'all have a good night. Thank you.
Good. Thank you.
All right. Nice.
We still have, I know tonight we're running a little bit over. We have Reverend Matthews back. So I think he wanted to drop one last nugget for us. So okay, he's
there
back.
You go.
Can you hear us, Reverend Matthews?
Man, I can hear y'all. Yeah, I can hear you now. My bad. I don't know what was going on.
Sorry about all the technical issues, but I'm
man,
glad,
it's okay.
In a way, I'm glad this happened, because now this is what the show is all about.
Got to adapt.
Of course, man. I'll just say before y'all go, man. First of all, thank y'all. I've enjoyed this information. I think all the speakers were well. But just like we've had to display courtesy, grace, patience, parents got to do the same thing for teachers and administrators, and then because we're doing the same thing for the parents. If anyone has any kind of question about any resources, any help, my Twitter is Nico the Advocate, and also on Facebook, Nico Matthews. I'm very resourceful, so if anyone needs any kind of help or assistance, man, I'm more than happy to assist them in any kind of way. This is what I do. It's a ministry for me, so I'm just grateful for the opportunity to serve people.
And that's awesome, man. And like I said, as we said earlier, your resume speaks for itself. We definitely going to post how people can, because I'm saying, I know, again, I can't speak for Pat, but my timeline has been just up and down with people being frustrated. And I think that's why Houston Independent School District waited a little bit later to get their school, because they don't start till September 8th. Kind of see if there was going to be so many kinks, and and it's been a lot. So,
let me tell y'all before y'all go too. Now, my district, we have kids on campus.
Okay.
So we have kids that are doing remote. We have 3 plans, I guess. So we have kids doing remote learning on virtual. Then we have kids coming to campus. and then they all rotate Fridays. So we have a lot going on in our district, and our first day of school with virtual learning, our system crashed 2 days in a row. Then today, Zoom was down district wide. So man, it's been chaos, but we're doing the best that we can from our standpoint. And so I understand parents' frustration. Just don't go to the school cussing everybody out.
Right.
Just be patient with them. I know it's easier said than done, but they got to be patient.
That's some good words.
All right, man. Thank y'all, man. I'm a PV alum. No UT Hook'em. PV Panthers.
There you go.
But
y'all be blessed, man.
No, you too, man. And
once again, we lost audio. I don't know what audio is.
He can't hear. Can't hear.
He can't hear. Can you hear us?
No.
Maybe it's Bluetooth.
It's probably it's the Bluetooth. Yeah. But it's the Bluetooth. It's the Bluetooth.
Can you hear us now?
Okay, man. Peace.
All right, man.
All right. Yeah, that's
All
the
right,
Bluetooth.
man.
The Bluetooth knocks it out sometimes. So,
yeah,
but
that's why I had to take my headphones out myself, man.
Yeah.
But tonight has been an awesome show, a resourceful show. I really feel like that's the number one topic. I know in our area, everybody's concerned about Hurricane Laura. We're in the middle we still are in the middle of a pandemic, believe it or not.
Got my hat ready. Ready for the water.
Exactly. Reel it out there. Yeah. But the most important thing is our kids, the lineage, and to see and to hear and get these nuggets from everyone tonight or what we can do and I think my biggest takeaway from it is just being patient. Being patient. It's gonna be a lot of kinks. So don't lash out at the teacher. Don't lash out at your kids. Don't lash out at the parent. Just everybody has to be patient because we're in uncharted waters right now. Like this, it hasn't been seen before. But and in college, I'm used to online learning in a way. But how the difference between I'm not gonna say my age for everybody out there, but for a 5-year-old, a 6-year-old, 7-year-old, it's totally different.
Yeah, and from my experience, I've seen people at HCC, the ones that are coming straight out of high school don't have many issues with doing online learning, but it's the ones that are, they've been working for 10 years and they decide to go back to school, or they may have even retired and want to go back to school. Those are the ones that are having a lot of issues and getting frustrated. And I'm seeing a lot of them, get so frustrated to the point where they just give up. So, like you said, just leaving the final words, if it's something you really want to do, don't give up on it. You have to be patient, but also be forgiving because on both sides, somebody might say something they didn't really mean because they're having a bad day. But you got to realize the next day they come back, they may apologize, and you got to, be forgiving and move forward to the next step. You got to be flexible. You got to be flexible in this new age. Be flexible and adapt to different things. Audio's cutting off, the internet's dropping. You gotta, we scheduled the show for 30 minutes and we're now over an hour. So hey, we're being flexible and we're adapting to it because this is something that we need to get out to the audience, and a lot of people are interested in it. And then with Tessie, she mentioned about being creative and doing a lot of things that are basically
outside the box.
Yeah,
I absolutely, because my little niece and nephew, shout out Stacy if you watch Stacy Moore. My sister, she had them do a cooking class, but it was catered to a 6-year-old. You know what I mean? So she made some chocolate chip oatmeal cookies the other day. They were good. She came by and gave me some. So, but I'm saying it was fun, but it's still teaching you how to be quantitative, like, need measurements. Yeah. I need a cup of this. How much is a cup? Right. Stuff like that. So it's like, but you're keeping them interact because sometimes you have to trick kids. Yeah. You have to trick them they're learning, but they'll remember stuff. You know, we used to back in the day, and I ain't gonna keep going, but we used to have a song for all the capitals for the different states in the United States, and
Yeah.
I don't remember it now, but I remembered it then. So
Yeah.
you know, you just have to have different learning techniques and be patient, and you know, learning is still learning at the end of the day. You know, whether it's virtual or in person.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, give grace, be patient, be creative, and I think that's my biggest takeaways from tonight.
Yeah, I'm being creative and just basically like you said, and like I keep going back to being creative and thinking outside the box, but it's like really something like people are hands-on. Some people are hands-on learners, and like myself, and online I'm like I don't really like it and I lose interest. But you know, like you said, your Stacy Moore does something like that where that's the way I learn. I would love to be able to learn by actually doing it, measuring it, versus just reading it or regurgitating information from a
Right.
book. Actually getting involved and hands-on, I learn it much better that way.
And again, I'm not trying to sound like a broken record, but even with my child, sports like statistics. That's how
Mhm.
you know
Oh,
triple.
yep.
You know, so another way is like you know knowing how you know what's you know once you get to 10, it's this. You know, so it's different ways for a kid to learn. And I'm like you, I not only have to do it, but sometimes I have to see it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not an
Same here.
auditory person.
Same
So
here. Yep.
you can tell me something, and I'll be like, "What'd you just say?"
Yep.
And people think I'm not paying attention, but I'm just not
You
good at
grasp
that.
it better. It's like
Right,
I'm a visual person, so I grasp it better by seeing it. So,
right,
yeah,
absolutely,
that's true.
absolutely. Well, it's been a great show, man. I just want to tell everybody to be, yeah, you can follow us on Facebook, Lambitious Podcast, Instagram, Lambitious, Twitter, Lambitious PC, and then we're also on Twitch TV for all you streamers at Lambitious. Man, my biggest takeaway too, again, if you're in the Gulf Coast region from Texas to Florida, because hurricanes are tricky, just be safe, get all your non-perishable goods, fill up your cars, get your gas, and pray.
Yep. Don't do anything crazy.
Don't do anything crazy,
Don't
man.
do
And
anything I would do.
oh, Now just-
All right.
so
Well,
all right, man. It's been a pleasure, and we do this again next week, 8:15 next Tuesday, God willing. And everybody take care and tune back in. Make sure to repost, share. We love everyone.
out.